welcome Irene Hoffman, who is currently the director of OCLC East, but not for much longer. OCLC is making changes within their own structure. OCLC East and OCLC West will actually be combining, and Irene is moving on to working with OCLC partner relationships. She has been with OCLC a couple different times. She took time out to work at academic libraries, but came back to work at OCLC West about 3 years ago. And she's going to give us information about some new OCLC services and products, and just talk to us about OCLC in general, and she will answer questions about OCLC. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. This is really quite an honor for me to be here. I'm going to get myself situated. I never make these podium shelves big enough. Okay. Well, I want to thank Deborah and the staff at NEBASE, and also Rod and the Nebraska Library Commission for allowing me and inviting me to be part of this very special celebration and tribute to NEBASE. And thank you to all of you, because without all of you, I wouldn't be standing up here. You have all helped make OCLC what it is today, and from the smallest of you to the largest of you. Your contributions have just been amazing, and you'll see as I talk about where we are in the world of holdings and growth, every bit of this is built on small incremental additions and changes and contributions that are made by every library in the cooperative. Just for my own sake, as Deborah said, I'm in DC right now. And I want you to know that, two things. Number one, that there's a lot of change going on. And it's not only change within your world of NEBASE and Nebraska libraries, but it's also a lot of change going on within OCLC. And I think you'll see some of that in my remarks. As Deborah said, I have a brand new job starting July 1st, and I still have yet to figure out what that new job is going to be. So many of us are in a state of flux, and I think some of this is just a sign of the times, giving us lots of opportunities to rethink how we do things and to do things maybe in different and maybe sometimes better ways. So just for my own knowledge, because my audience in DC is always more than 2/3 special libraries, I'm just curious how all of you are associated. So how many academic libraries are here? Oh, wow. How about public libraries? Okay, what about schools? Do we have any school libraries? One school, yay. And how about museums, archives, or other kinds of institutions, special libraries? 1, 2, oh good. So a very nice mix of libraries here representing Nebraska, wonderful. As I said, this is a year of tremendous change, and what I wanted to go back to is, Rod mentioned Fred Kilgore. Fred Kilgore was the founder of OCLC, and in 1967, he revealed his strategy to create this online union catalog through shared cataloging and through individual transactions in order to keep the cost of library operations down. The result is WorldCat, which has saved libraries millions of dollars in cataloging and interlibrary loan costs. Today, we're extending that strategy of cooperation to reduce costs of library management functions such as circulation and acquisitions as well, and continuing to identify and implement services and new service efficiencies. And lastly, and I'll talk about this quite a bit later on, we are building to web scale and building on OCLC's 40-year history of innovation and cooperation. So, I don't know, one of my lives I was a planning and strategic planning person in an academic library in California. And one of my jobs was to write a mission statement for the library. I should only be as successful as Fred Kilgore was in writing a vision and a mission that is still relevant today. after 40 years. His vision has really transcended time, and it is really still the backbone of what we're doing at OCLC. And I'm going to address 5 of these areas: the local and global reach of OCLC, building the cooperative beyond that small group of libraries that Rod mentioned in Ohio, membership and governance, evolving the membership and governance structures to now accommodate a global environment, research and our continuing investment in learning about the market that we all work in and sharing that information with all of you, looking at service and cost efficiencies that continuously strive for service enhancements and to constantly look at stemming the cost of library operations. And then creating this a new compelling user environment that looks forward into strategies that can help us remain relevant to our customers and our members and our constituents. So building on that local and global part of the vision, I wanted to start with what happened here in Nebraska. Nebraska's contributions to the library world have been far from insignificant. As 2009 marks the 42nd year of the OCLC Cooperative, you can see what Nebraska libraries have contributed this year and over the course of the history of Nebraska libraries' participation. All-time holdings for total from Nebraska libraries is just below 10 million items and holdings. So that's quite a significant contribution that you are all making to build this global cooperative. The state of the cooperative is truly now becoming global, and what's important here to note is that scale is important, because with scale we can derive a lot of value and turn that value back to all of you in ways that can improve your operations and your use of your connections with your users. So globally, from the original 54 libraries in Ohio, there are now more than 71,000 libraries in over 112 countries participating in the cooperative. And it's interesting to note that in fiscal year 2008, revenues from libraries outside the U.S. increased 13% to over $56 million. That compared with $49 million just the previous year. So we're indeed becoming a much more global cooperative. And as we will see, the governance model that I'll talk about also is beginning to address this issue of taking this around the world. So I thought that it would be, interesting for all of you to see how the makeup of our institutions come out within the cooperative. Academic libraries still remain the largest segment, but as you can see from this chart, about 30% of the catalog members are now either public or school libraries. Just 10 years ago, and that's not very long ago, there were only 216 school libraries using OCLC, and the number of publics in the U.S. was only around 1,000. So we have really grown in 10 years quite a bit. And today we're now looking at these other markets, the foundations, associations, the cultural heritage institutions, and memory institutions, to try to reach out to them and have them start participating in the cooperative more fully as well. So the WorldCat database, the OLUC, as some of you remember, which was renamed to WorldCat, is growing faster than ever. Jay Jordan, who Rod mentioned is the president and CEO of OCLC, likes to talk about the growth of OCLC not in the number of members, but rather in the number of records, because he feels that what we need is a way to index all of the world's knowledge